Greetings, geeks! Welcome to episode 608 of Geeks and Speak. This is our 50th movie review. Oh my god, we're doing Revenge of the Nerds, and I'm here with Nate Ostendorp.
You girls sure can party.
Rob Roseboom.
Hello.
And Chris DeBona.
I don't know why they call me Booger.
And I think it's, you moos sure can party! So this movie is a tough one for me because there might not be any more formative movie in my personal identity than this. Because, yeah.
So this was, I think, it might have been the first movie that we recorded off of HBO. So this was a VHS tape that I watched. I can't tell you how many times a 12-year-old Rob Roseboom watched Revenge of the Nerds. A lot. So much so that I remembered almost all the dialogue.
Yeah.
Me too. That was the weird thing.
Right? Like even the songs.
Oh, yeah.
They just... I could just watch this and just speak all the parts.
On mute.
It's crazy. Yeah.
I had this on VHS as well, but mine was dubbed from somewhere, and I don't know, or it was a TV cut. And,
it was a TV
I don't
cut.
know where, like, it must have been like recorded, you know, at like on like a midnight showing or something, because I can't imagine that you were showing this movie like during any prime time. So I didn't record this. But for me to watch this movie now, it's like a oh, that's what happened. You know, because there's so many of these little bits where there's words that are cut out. Like, I didn't know the version that I had. I think that they blurred all of Booger's shirts. And Booger's shirts are all, you know, moderately offensive, or in some cases probably fairly offensive things. And I didn't know any of that. But there was no swearing in my copy. And this movie has a lot of swearing in it.
And let's be clear. The second best character in this movie is either Booger Shirts or Ogre.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, both those guys work it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they sent it in this movie.
This whole movie is about Booger and Ogre. Everyone else I could throw out. In fact, almost all my notes are just a highlight reel of Booger.
Yeah, right?
So.
I think it's hilarious how you call him Booger. You know? It's like, is that like a Midwestern Booger?
Booger.
It's not Booger.
This was the third time I've ever seen this movie. And I saw it once when I was maybe 12, and the boobs were, you know, quite astonishing. And then once, like in college, and I did not have high hopes for this movie. I kind of remembered it as being sort of a throwaway, but it's kind of a gag a minute. Like, it's pretty dense.
Yeah.
Yep.
I kind of like it. It's super problematic. But of the genre of, like, there's like a clump of these movies, right? There's like Porky's and Animal House. There's like a cluster of these movies.
Well, Animal House is a little bit earlier than this.
Sure, that's true.
I hear you.
But like the college or almost college, the sex comedy, I guess, is the genre. But like, I watched several of those as a kid, but this one, man, it's nerds. It's got all the things I like in it. It's got stupid computers. It's got silly music. It's got synthesizers. I mean, it's my jam. But coming back to it as an adult is very difficult because, like, I can't tell this is this case where I can't tell. This is too built in to what I saw as a kid. Like, I don't know if what they were doing was mean-spirited, if what they were doing was an honest attempt, because the nerds are like, they're the outcasts.
This is the thing about this movie. So there are parts about this movie that I absolutely love, but there's some parts that I feel are just basically nerd step and fetch it. It's just so terrible. Like, every time they laugh, that stupid laugh, and I'm like, listen, as somebody who's actually a nerd, believe me, no one's that effing clueless.
And you have to.
No. As somebody who spent a lot of time in a college computer science department, we had all of those archetypes.
Yeah, I think it's important to recognize too, at the time this movie was made, that like there's no part of nerddom that was cool. Like we had to cancel. We had dress up week, and one of those days was supposed to be nerd day, but we had to cancel because some kid committed suicide because he was being called a nerd. I mean, this is not.
Yeah,
this movie came out at a time where there was no part of being a nerd was remotely cool at all.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Well, let's get into it. One of the first things that I thought was really odd here is that they show the title card, but they show it while the Fox fanfare is still playing.
Yeah,
which I don't know. Let's let that run out there. But it's that like that's weird. That's not normal, right? And then the other thing is, I didn't actually do the research on this font, but that doesn't look correctly like that font.
I feel the MCR font,
right? But I feel like some of the lines are on the wrong sides of where they're supposed to. The thick parts and the thin parts might be swapped. I'm not sure, but it looks wrong to me. I don't know why.
Well, let me take a look.
The important stuff. The first scene of the movie, we introduce our lead nerds, I guess, Gilbert and Lewis. I always absolutely adored his stupid little staying dressed under the blanket gag. To me, as a child,
Anthony Edwards was very charming in this movie.
For sure,
he's very sweethearted. Lewis was he's going to get into jail because of his hijinks, but like everything Anthony Edwards was just like so sweet.
It does make this is a little bit uncomfortable. Look at the way they're holding each other here. Like this is too familiar for your best friend's mom. Just saying.
Well,
wasn't a player?
No. It was that guy's mom though. The guy on the left is the child of the woman on the right.
No, I think that he's in the other guy's house. The other guy's in his bed. That's his mom. This is his best friend's mom.
Okay. Well, I must have gotten it wrong. So. It was super awkward regardless.
Yeah, so he rips the clothes off. And
Ted McGinley.
Covers, not clothes. Big difference.
Yeah. It's that good point. That happens many times later.
Yeah.
So, there's Adams College, home of the Adams. The 12-year-old me thought that was delightful. And the theme song.
Revenge of the Nerds. Revenge of the Nerds.
And it's like a discount Devo.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this was all filmed at the University of Arizona, which is basically a clothing optional party school. But yeah, it's just really funny that this is where they filmed it.
Yeah. I always loved that the father was also a nerd.
James Cromwell, that'll do, pig.
Yeah, inventor of the warp drive.
Right? Yeah. How many Cochrans did they go down the highway there?
Yeah. I don't know. My family, my father also tended towards nerddom, so I found pleasure in that.
Mm.
I know we had different childhoods, Rob.
Yeah. There is a character I can relate to. My father in this. he's coming in about the 8-minute mark.
I have a theory.
Yeah.
So I have to tell you, one of my favorite parts about right about here through Nate and Rob's note is they did such a nice job on the walking across campus, causing incredible amounts of chaos.
Totally
with
indifferent.
Their luggage.
Yep.
They're totally clueless, and they're walking through picnics, and people are falling over. There's real damage being done. I really loved the scene.
That's a nice trunk too. That is solid furniture.
Right.
That is monstrous.
That is what you take to your dorm room.
No one takes a trunk like that to their dorm.
Of course not. Where else do you
much
store your robot?
Like, how much do you think that thing weighs?
Empty.
Just, an enormous amount.
Those two gentlemen have no upper body strength. That box is empty. But again, this movie does do a lot of cheap things, the laugh and the glasses and all that. But I think that the point is here, they're not noticing their self-absorbed thing. Again, this movie resonates with me in ways that make me look at myself and feel shame. Like, I know I do that sort of thing. I like, I'm in my own head. I'm in my own thing, and I don't notice a lot of times when I walk through other people's parties. I get it, man.
Yeah, no, it resonates with all of us, I'm sure. So, except for Nate, he's too cool.
Yeah.
It's
No,
cool.
I was in the nerd dorm with Rob.
We'll get to the nerd dorm. It's coming up.
Wasn't that the Satanist dorm at Hope College, though? I mean,
Yeah.
Rob.
Here we are with the second best character in the movie. And now, what bothers me about this, quite frankly, is while you may not, notice when you're doing something, a social faux pas, his inability to recognize that he is indeed a nerd seems completely ridiculous to me. Yeah. Particularly because they talk about in the beginning how college, is going to be different than high school because they're adults now and everything. So the fact that he is like, they can't be talking about us, and that gag happens over and over again in the movie, is so stupid to me. I can hardly stand it.
I loved Ogre though. He was that actor, he delivered.
Yeah.
He's
a sociopath, and it's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
I'd say his.
Is this in German, Rob?
No.
Yeah, it is.
No joke. That's gonna make it even funnier because I can't fix this now.
So he's a nerd.
That's awesome. Das ist ein Nerd. That's even
doing
better.
This one in German, guys.
This is the way to get around everything offensive. We
Was
solved
ist
it.
los denken Sie, Gilbert?
What's this little stinking?
Let me translate.
That's fantastic.
Oh, man.
No. Nice.
We got some great lines. We got some great lines.
This is gonna be so much better.
Everything.
Because we know every line in this movie by heart, so it won't matter.
We do. It's true.
Oh, that's great.
Oh,
I'm excited that this is the movie that finally happened for.
Wait, can I ask a question?
You can.
Didn't someone specifically say to you, "Hey, I think this is German, and you might want to transcode the other track"?
So
I don't. Did somebody say that?
I played it in VLC. I played it in VLC. It played in English. I played it in Chrome, and I didn't double check it in Chrome, so it's my own failure.
Scheiße.
I hope they don't dub the music, they played the other songs in English, so hopefully they didn't do anything weird with that. That's fantastic. I love this. This is making me so happy. This is their dorm room. They have a robot to unpack, which is the coolest thing that you could possibly have in your dorm room. This just always again, this is what 12-year-old me thinks college is going to look like. Real genius, I always thought was like pretend. But for some reason in my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, no, this is probably how it is. This is probably real. Like, they got the space shuttle posters on the wall. This might actually not be that far from Dave and I's first dorm room.
Well, I liked how crappy the dorm room was. That really resonated. When I dropped Randy off at school, her dorms were just trash. So It's like, yeah, this is durable construction.
I just wanted to note this. I always thought this was awesome, and I can't wait to hear what it sounds like in German, but this is blowing a fireball. I just remember my brother, who, by the way, is 3 years younger than me, and so if I'm watching this movie at, like, age 10, that means he's watching this movie at, like, age 7. He loved this part. I love it. This party is my nightmare. I do not want to be anywhere...
Well, it's very unsafe. And B, it's very hard to clean up after.
No, I know.
Before they burn the house down. Burning the house down was the only option to getting that frat building clean again.
Totally.
Yep.
Like, they had a beer pool.
Gross.
They were sliding into the beer pool.
Yeah.
God, imagine what it smelled like. Oh,
that is not good.
So gross.
That is not good. But here's our first John Goodman bit.
Yeah.
This is basically his first IMDb entry, isn't it? Really dang close.
He's a young man.
Yeah. Before the weight of the world and Roseanne Barr wore him down. He is so good in that Cloverfield movie too.
He's good in everything. He's a very good actor.
He's really good. And this movie, I hated him so much. Like he was my enemy. he was on the other team.
That's a lot.
Oh yeah.
I take it back. He's probably more like my dad than Ogre.
That's who I thought you were gonna say. That's who I thought you were gonna say when you said it.
I really liked the freshman eviction where they're throwing the freshmen out of windows. That
it's horrible.
It's the worst.
I don't know.
So let's
like
be clear.
people would die. You know,
the alpha betas are the most terrible people you would ever run into. They are all sociopaths. They commit crimes all the freaking time. They commit batteries, breaking and entering,
sexual assault.
They're just awful people.
This is a. I have to remember, like, as an adult, this is like a cartoon. These are caricatures. This is so far away from reality. Like, so it's like an abstraction of an abstraction. But even now when I watch this, I'm like, this is unfair. This isn't how it should be. I'm like still getting up in arms. They shouldn't be allowed to throw those people out of their rooms. They paid just as much in tuition.
The idea that any fraternity could evict generic freshmen from a college building is just so far out of bounds of reality. I was just like, this is dumb.
Of course it's dumb. Of course
Play
it's
it
dumb.
in German. Play it in German. There you go.
Baupolizeilichen Verordnung aus dem Jahre 1875 dürfen nicht mehr als 1,5 Studenten in einem Raum sein. Wir zeigen
You know what would be cool is if there was a way to change languages in Chrome. You should submit a bug report. Can't do it.
Have you gone into the settings? Is there settings?
Yeah,
that you can...
there's nothing that I can find. There's no properties or anything. I tried this before. Anyway, this made me so angry. This makes me so angry. Every infraction done to these nerds is done directly to me.
Every injustice.
I feel it.
Injustice done against one nerd is an injustice done against all nerds.
It's so true.
I love their replacement quarters, and the fact that this kid is like, it looks like this. We're in an emergency shelter.
It's like, you're just gonna leave me here?
Ich will keine Karriere machen, ich will spielen.
Aber lernen, mein Kleiner, ist doch...
The German makes it so much funnier.
And I had forgotten about Wormser. So, like, not only is there the casual 80s racism in this movie and a good to healthy portion of sexual assault, but they're involving an 11-year-old.
Yeah. In sexual situations often. Yeah.
And plying him with booze and drugs, you know?
Yep.
It's very funny. Well, what I also loved about this was, this is where we finally meet Booger, I think.
Yep.
And it's like, indeed. I sort of thought, this is definitely the Better Off Dead cinematic universe. Mm-hmm. Crossed with a bit of Real Genius, right? Because there's a lot of Real Genius sort of crossover actors and like the young kid going to the school. And I'm like, maybe this is all the same movie.
Just a really long one with like some chapter breaks, like the Snyder cut.
This is
hour-long chapter breaks.
Yeah.
Say what?
Das heißt natürlich nur, bis die Basketballsaison anfängt.
I don't know. Just the fact that like basketballs, there's like 30 minutes where every couple minutes of basketball randomly pops in, and I just find that hilarious.
It's so funny.
So the next sequence is the obligatory, let's introduce all of the supporting casts. So we have Lamar, holy crap. 12-year-old me had no clue what was going on with any of these characters.
Yeah.
Wormser.
I love his TV.
Right?
I love the old tube TV with his 2600. That's fantastic.
I like the idea that they brought the TV to the gym. Like cots, sure, but like this TV is a slap in the face for sure.
Yeah. Well, the dean is a nerd too. That's sort of the underlying implication that he's subject to the whims of the jocks and the football coach.
That's right. Here's Booger,
the star of the movie.
Yeah,
he's amazing.
He's on the freak side, not the geek side,
for sure. For sure. And Takashi.
And then they're
Takashi. Booger demonstrating his principal skill.
Yep.
I don't know why they call me that.
I don't know. And do they get Poindexter in this sequence?
It was earlier. Timothy
Busfield. Holy crap!
And I have some notes which are Poindexter. I think Poindexter actually does some pretty pretty competent physical comedy.
For sure.
Yeah, he does.
I don't know which ones you got, but throughout, that is a man who can play that part, and he's so good in so many other things too.
He is.
Timothy Busfield is one of those dudes that you sprinkle a little bit of him in your movie, and your movie's probably a little better for it. And there's a lot of cases for that. I always liked that he had a good relationship with C.J. Craig. That's my primary Timothy Busfield. Let's see. I had right around in this shot. I just wanted to have a note about pocket protectors here. I owned pocket protectors. I thought they were the awesomest thing. I never dared wear them to school except for, like, I think on a costume day or something. I thought they were awesome. I had one in my room. Pocket protectors, man.
In my dad's stuff after he died was his NASA pocket protector.
That's
nice. On the Mercury program. So it's like,
pretty cool.
These are real things.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody dies during this hazing. So by modern standards, this is very tame.
By Arizona standards, this is downright, childish. It's easy.
There's a lot of things that I wonder just practically, like, okay, they just moved into this brand new dorm because they threw all the nerds out, and they somehow had time to, like, set all of this up, or maybe they're just in the same room as the Adams altar.
Here's the thing with the alpha betas. You got to give them props for their production value when they do things. Like they are pushing it to the nines. There's a reason why they are president of the Greek Council.
Yeah.
Oh.
Here we are. Just play it a little bit.
Regenmäntel? Wozu brauchen wir denn diese Dinger?
The German is so great.
There it is. So I had forgotten there was even bestiality in this movie.
Yep. It's got everything.
So add it to the list.
That. Yeah. Check.
Yeah, I think this might have been edited out of the version that I saw, because I definitely, like, almost every image in this movie is burnt in, but I do not remember the rubbers. Which means either 11-year-old me didn't know what a rubber was, which is totally plausible, or they edited out of the TV cut that I saw. Could
also, be God bless you for calling them rubbers.
It seems appropriate to call them that in an 80s context movie. That's the term, right?
Even they have nerdy underwear.
They do.
It's like, guys, really.
They even have
super high-waisted tight whiteys on the right. Yeah.
These are my people, man.
And how hairy Robert Carradine is. I mean, he's a hairy guy.
He is a hairy guy.
He's astute.
No, I got three. You don't got Three Kings. Three Kings beats a flush. I can't remember what the line is. But
right.
It's actually at 21:52.
Oh, there you have two of them in here. There's a 21:15. Are we ahead?
Oh, maybe it's 21:15.
That was where we were. But yeah, no, I got Two Kings. Two Kings beats a flush.
Ich habe 2 Siebenen und die sind immer noch besser als ein Fuß.
This is not going to work in German.
No, because
it
might be better.
Just repeat. No, it's not going to be better
because we don't have to actually say it or hear it.
That's the point. The point of it.
I ain't saying the accent. He's mocking his accent here, and it's mean.
No, that's not the line. The line is 7s beats 2 kings.
Yeah,
or
but
2 sevens beats a
flush.
Yeah, but it's how he's pronouncing it.
He pronounces it correctly in the spot. I didn't put in any of the racism.
All right.
Although you can probably play it now because it's all in German.
That's what I'm saying. We're safe.
Ich habe 2 Siebenen und die sind immer noch besser als ein Futschi oder wie der Flash sonst noch heißt. Das sag ich.
We're protected.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know. I think they're friends. But
sure.
They come in feathered. Jesus. It's so mean.
It's so on brand for us to screw up our 50th movie.
That seems perfect.
Sad.
I don't think it's going to matter for us. In fact, I think it might be safer.
Here's our first romantic interest.
And where else has she starred? Valley Girl. And
Real Genius.
Real Genius. That's right. Michelle Mernick. She's now a yoga instructor, a mindfulness coach in Los Angeles.
And I would say this is the stupidest computer sequence in a movie.
Totally.
But,
Yeah.
It's bad.
but man, there isn't really a good. Have you ever watched like NCIS?
Yeah.
And watch them, pull stuff up on the computer? It's all nonsense, It's all bad.
Oh, hey, look.
Yeah.
I'm making graphics.
Right. I am somehow able to touch type vector graphics into this keyboard and animate them. No. No part of this is real.
Ich find Computer großartig.
But I guess if you did do that, the ladies would be impressed.
Well, yeah.
No.
Jordan, maybe, or whatever her name is in this one, Judy.
I mean, you draw this with a light pen in this era, right? Because they're like doing all these weird angles, and that's you can't really do that. Anyway, I always thought this is how you woo women. I'd have to ask my wife. I don't think that this would have worked on her.
That's a very unusual thing.
Again, high on stress on Burger's shirt. I think that might have been blurred in the copy that I saw, because I do not remember that. But again, I also all the weed stuff didn't register to 11-year-old me. So who knows?
Oh, yeah?
This is my favorite line in the movie.
Are you gonna say it for us since it's in German?
No.
Hast du sie vernascht? So ein Küken ist sie nicht, du Popel. Wieso hat sie einen Rüpel?
Can I just say it bothers me?
Kann ich das haben?
You can eat that?
You can eat that.
Yeah.
This grossed me out as a child, and it grosses me out now. This is the moment that, despite what Booger says, which is horrible.
Big deal. Did you get in her pants?
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
That's that kind of a girl, Booger. Why? Does she have a wing wang?
Yeah.
Sorry,
I've
Rob.
got a copy of it here. I can pipe it in if you want.
Go for it.
No, it's all right. Well, just deleting some notes.
Oh, leave them in there. We can quote them.
We can do this tomorrow,
No,
No, nobody wants to do this again.
This is stupid.
Okay. All I wanted to say here is, as we watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Cap gets his new hat, he's putting on his new uniform. He's the new Captain America. This is the shot that comes into my head. It looked like the fabric on the side of his head looked to me like he was wearing a jockstrap, and it was this image that popped into my head. This movie, man.
I can see how it really moves you.
So in this sequence, they are now about to go get they're gonna go look for apartments, and their robot is somehow capable of printing out the listings, which means this robot has internet access. It has this.
Well, in the robot's defense, the MLS was computerized at this point, and real estate agents were commonly logging into the MLS and printing out listings.
Also, he does have a keyboard in his lap, so I think that his robot just is basically a printer.
That would make sense.
Yeah. I'm beginning to think the robot's maybe not real.
Wait a minute. Oh, God.
So, yeah, this scene, oh my gosh, you would not get away with this today.
But in German...
An kleine Jungs vermiete ich am liebsten. Die sind furchtbar pflegeleicht und handlich.
Nothing is offensive in German.
It'll be perfect for us.
I know you think this is better, but it's not.
All right, well, you have my apologies. We can quit, or we can muscle through, because I think the music is still going to be the same.
It's up to you guys. I can do this tomorrow. I can do this anytime.
No, let's just do it. We're doing it.
We're doing it. Let's do it live. Screw it.
We'll do it live. Where am I now? So now it's time for the house. They found the address that's going to work. They got their cool, sweet new pad. I labeled this the copy strike montage.
Open your eyes.
Yeah.
Prepare for surprise.
Love that song.
It's not in German.
No. I don't think any of the songs.
And it's also where you get some of the best Booger T-shirts too.
Right.
Yeah.
Oof. There you go.
Again, I don't remember any of those, so I think that they were fuzzed out. All I wanted to say is that I think this was Geek House 2.
It was pretty much Geek House 2.
When we walked into that building the very first time, I think it was probably just about this bad.
If you put one foot in front of the other.
Again, physical comedy.
Yep.
You got to put one foot in front of
The wallpaper thing, man. All of these things. Let's see.
You got to figure out how to actually play the actual audio from the Mopery one. It's just so funny.
Oh, that's so good.
We brought him in for Mopery. What's
Seht ihr den
Mopery?
Mann dort drüben? Wir haben ihn wegen Mopperei verhaftet.
Mopery
Mopperei
is
ist
when
das
you
Entblößen
expose
vor
yourself to a
Schäferhunden und
blind
Wellensittich.
Igitt.
Das wird euren Fans...
I love the shame. It's so funny.
Mopery. It's exposing yourself to a blind person. Okay.
This one is not going to work with the German, but because part of it, his delivery on this is just perfect.
Yeah.
Oh no,
He says, after all,
You're nerds.
nerds.
Yeah.
It's just, oh man.
But I do like
It's just, yeah.
they lawyer him. They're like, but according to the rule book. And
Yep.
that's the thing that happens throughout this movie is there's these little things where the nerds are like doing what the nerds do. The nerds read the rule book. You know, like I love that. They're using their nerd powers.
I mean, after all, you're nerds. I mean, he's so reasonable about it, you know? It's like,
Habt ihr euch für den Abend denn schon jemand eingeladen?
Ich habe.
Ja, aber das ist ein Kerl.
Yeah.
That doesn't work at all.
No. But this was probably the least problematic of the homophobic slurs that I could air.
Right?
This is also where Booger says he's been combing the high schools all week looking for a date.
Yeah. And like I do have to give Larry Scott props because like he carries Lamar. Like he is pretty awesome, I feel like.
yeah.
At giving that character 100%.
And honestly, you know, what's funny is the homophobic, the homosexual representation in this movie is, I would say, borderline actually quite positive. Like, yeah, there's a couple of like limp-wristed jokes and stuff, but like him with his boyfriend at the party, him just being who he is, it's like this was remarkably progressive.
They rely on him for certain events at the carnival. So yeah.
I mean,
the nerds don't care except for Booger, and Booger is garbage. That's his whole deal.
Yeah, Booger is
And Booger
but
really doesn't care. Ultimately,
he's just happy to be shitty.
He's just shitty.
He's equally shitty to everybody of all ages.
This one's rough too. I'll put on some music
Die
they'll
kennen doch
like.
Frauen. Die kommen immer zu spät, um Eindruck zu schinden.
And Lamar gets in like, nope.
Like, what? Nope. Lamar's like,
Whoop. I got this.
he's like, I got this covered, bros.
You guys are idiots. That's a great stink eye. Oh, the Moos show up.
The Moos show up, and we get the Moo lineup where they go.
Doot, doot, doot. And Booger's like, yeah. Because Booger's gross.
My kind of party.
It's interesting to me, and again, 45-year-old me, it's interesting to see what is considered just incredibly drab and unattractive by 1980 standards, which is basically just kind of normal looking people.
These ladies all look average. They're just normal
And
ladies.
it's also I also thought it was a good message that, you know, this movie shows that it is indeed impossible to have a good time without drugs and alcohol.
Right. So you guys know about my issues with having sticky things on my skin. Even as a child, the fact that she had a label on her shoulder, do not like.
You didn't like that?
Do not like.
Why would you? That's one of your things?
That's pretty damn high up on the list.
Okay.
Don't put sticky things. Oh yeah. Auf Deutsch. How do you say Wonder Joint auf Deutsch?
We'll find out.
Die Wundertüten.
Die Wundertüten.
See, this is better. So yep, the party has to be fixed with drugs. And suddenly the party is a hoppin' thing. And the nerds prove their worth to UN Jefferson.
I wonder what UN stands for.
I wondered that a lot. And I don't know a lot of people who identify themselves by two initials.
I enjoyed Poindexter involuntarily dancing.
That's the power of Wundertoten.
It just, I don't know, it's very Bubbles, you know, it's just
Can you imagine what their music budget, like it was all spent on Thriller?
You know, I don't know.
Everything else is like secondary covers.
In 1984, is that true like it is today?
Oh, yeah, no, Thriller was such a big deal. And Lamar's wearing the Thriller jacket. I mean, somebody wanted Thriller in this movie.
I mean, it is.
Like, I mean, that cost a fortune.
It is the song of this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is the song, right?
Yeah, oh, auf Deutsch, here we go.
Ihr seid eine absolute Wucht. Ich dachte, ihr Moose tanzt nur gut auf der Beine.
You moose sure can party. Oh, he's a gross man. So happy. Oh, God. A lot of people go upstairs and get some up here, but none of them exit nearly as
wearing
awesome.
a smoking jacket.
Gilbert.
Right on, man. That guy's cool. He might be my hero.
Yeah, but that was the last time he had non-assaultive sex in the movie.
Yeah, that's... Well, yeah, he does a lot of bad things in this movie. And he's the instigator of a lot of evil.
Yeah, the only thing I pointed out, like coming up here, I don't know if this is what I think it is. Yeah, no, it's not yet.
728.
It's my
Ich sag
note.
euch, die brauchen es grob. Vorschlag abgelehnt.
I don't remember the dialogue because I've only seen this movie a couple times.
Booger keeps saying they should blow them up.
And
everyone else is like, no, we can't do that.
We can't do that.
No,
yeah,
no, we're going to
that
blow
was
them
just,
up.
You know.
You're right. We have to get revenge.
If the nerd house was all boogers, this would end in arson.
Right. Or murder.
It demands an immediate retaliation.
Right. And it's the panty raid, I guess.
And here we
kinda.
are. Yeah.
So this movie did give me a false idea about how easy it was to install voyeuristic cameras in a house, however. Much like, you know, when you're a kid and you watched people fall into quicksand all the time and thought, wow, that's going to be a big problem, you know, and turned out not to be.
Nope.
Same thing with, you know, installing hidden cameras in this movie. They make it look a lot easier.
For sure.
It, probably is.
The other thing is that, like, every single sequence is in the same hall.
Yeah.
Just different shenanigans, same hall. And they put up they got a wireless antenna even to transmit.
It's a microwave antenna. It's so advanced, and I'm like, you know, you have to aim it, you have to power it, you have to install it, and no one's going to notice all the sounds of the drywall hole cutter. I mean,
that was the one as the kid that got me too. It's like they would hear and they say he installed a silencer, but I'm sorry, you can't silence a dry hole saw.
Yeah, but these aren't pinhole cameras. They're like there's a giant lens sticking out of a hole in the ceiling. You know,
totally.
Like, people are going to notice that. Right.
Poindexter.
Oh my gosh! I'll be right back, y'all.
broke him. He can't handle the Poindexter. Let's see. That kills me. Okay, I have questions about liquid heat. And Rob, I am glad that you can bring your experience as a football player to this. Is this a real thing?
We did not have liquid heat. No. No. We didn't have anyone who would give us a massage either. Now this scene is problematic because if you go back in it, you'll see, and I noticed when I was a kid too, one of the jocks that I can't remember who it is, they throw one of the jocks and it lands beyond the stools and they don't get it together in the big pile. So one of those people in the scene is faking. That's all I'm saying.
He just wants to fit in.
Yeah, it's peer pressure.
Did anybody actually mark out the whole thing? The physical comedy, I think, in this sequence is actually very funny because you've got the all of the guys sort of like grunting and gritting their teeth, but Ogre is just like, nope, I'm just gonna take it. And it kills me. And the closing line is, and we forgot to practice. I want to get the Ogre.
Das ihr habt, seid hartnäckig. Lasst euch nicht durchhängen. Fluffys und Schlappschwänze sind ewige Verlierer. Wirst du alles aus dir rausholen, wirst du das? Natürlich will ich das. Dann raus damit. Geh das mal duschen.
That kills me every time. Even today, in German. We go back to UN Jefferson, and we find out that because of the crimes that the nerds have committed, they are now worthy of the Lambda 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 fraternity. And there's Chris's note. They put a burning nerd sign, and I don't know, even now, I don't know if this was in the version that I saw or not. I don't remember it. But wow.
I mean, this, oh my God. Yeah. Ugh.
I mean, that had to have been in it, right? That back then, no one would take offense to that in the 80s.
Yeah, you're probably right. So, yeah, now we got to go to the council. And this is another one of those things that stabs into my nerd heart because they can't get through the system because the system is rigged against them. It makes me so angry. But it does set forth a sort of a ticking clock for the last half hour of the movie. Which is the Greek Council. The Homecoming Carnival and the Greek Games. Look who's coming back just in time.
Hi. Sorry about that. Oh, yeah. Basically, whenever John Goodman's on screen, I had a, Jesus, Walter, you're not wrong, but you're an asshole. You know, I was just kept on thinking about Walter's subject whenever he's there with a gun, you know, and everything. It's like, don't point a gun. What are you doing, Walter? You know, from The Big Lebowski.
Yeah. I like that they've put him in the Enter the Dragon suit because of course you would in 1984. But they also use nerd powers because they give him some chemical that's supposed to outdo or to take away the alcohol, the effects of the alcohol.
The alcohol to water or something. I'm like, you know, what is this, alchemy? You know, but yeah.
And he wins the race.
Mm-hmm.
Each of these little montage bits are very, very funny. I think Tim Busfeld might be the MVP of this movie, man. I think he might be my favorite character now. Just watching his weird stuff.
Ogre and Booger really own it, but yeah. But Busfield did a great job, honestly. You know.
So this is just sort of prime Ogre. Like he's
totally
no finer moment in the movie than this. Just go ahead and watch him spit. Yes,
his best scene. Ogre. Drinking beer out of the trophy. The other team can't even move the bowl.
Yep,
he is all that is man sitting there, right?
So powerful,
absolute unit. You know,
it is great. The nerds obviously can't move him. We've got the arm wrestling. Booger. Oh, here we go.
He used a booger.
He's so
power.
inventive. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
booger
pure
powers.
booger.
He used his nerd powers to be gross. I wonder if they dubbed the burp.
Yeah,
this
they did.
The part that I remembered from my childhood.
They said the burp came from a camel.
But I wonder if it's still I wonder if they dub it again in German.
Do it. Play it.
No, that's the original burp. Thank you, Booger.
It's so gross.
Oh, we're jumping a lot here. Probably because some of this stuff gets rough. But
the javelin.
The javelin. I love that Wormser's an aerodynamics expert. So he designs the javelin. That still cracks me up. He brings a whole spool of tickets to the kissing booth. Nerds, man.
And then
I don't want to talk about this scene.
What's wrong with a little casual rape, right? I mean, it's hilarious.
The interesting thing, I mean, this is actually a pretty well-worn comic trope where the villains,
costume.
Yeah, there's a costume, there's a villain, there's the good guy who's less attractive or whatever. So Lend Me a Tenor has the exact same trope in it. It's actually kind of standard. It doesn't make it less repulsive. Like it's still very much rape, but like this was not invented in this movie.
Oh no.
But again, 12-year-old me had no idea what was even happening in that sequence. I was like, oh, they got a waterbed. That's neat. Why is there a waterbed in the funhouse? I was a naive child. Probably a naive grown-up. I hate the performance that these guys do, but I do find it very funny that their sign has the Alpha Beta has 69 as their score, and that the nerds have 0 as their score. Like, they're such dicks. They made their set for their talent show to mock the nerds. I guarantee we'll get copyright struck for this.
And is it really worth it?
I love this song. I love this song so much, Chris.
In their quasi Devo outfits, with their Roland synthesizers.
Oh, Poindexter
spikes his hair.
See, nerds are cool. See?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really cool.
Come on, they got Booger Presley on the lead guitar.
Oh, that's so terrible.
Oh, poor Takashi.
Yeah, that. I just keep that off camera, please.
I love Lamar. He's so cool.
Body, clap your hands. We lambda, and
this is so hard to watch.
I love this.
I think my electricians might need me.
But then he's got here comes a lambda 4 feet tall, and they do the wave together. It's so cute. I think maybe in this moment, 11-year-old me is just like, I wish I could be Wormser.
Really?
Wormser look a lot like my friend Josh.
Dude,
Gordon.
I had issues. And of course, the alphas are not happy that the geeks have, or the nerds have won the show. And John Goodman really delivers, man.
Yeah, he's great.
I play this, but it's dialogue.
Yeah, no,
you
just
got your
asses handed to you by nerds.
A bunch of nerds.
Ihr habt euch verladen lassen von absoluten Anfängern.
Non-fingern.
Non-fingern?
I think that means handed to you.
The rage that they run out of there, and like, man, this stuff is like, this gets me, man. This gets me, and I am a full-grown man, and this is a movie from 30 years ago in my childhood, and it still gets me. That's weird.
Oh my gosh.
Film is powerful.
Yeah.
They even destroyed the robot. They are truly monsters.
Not the robot.
Not the robot.
And then here's the Revenge of the Dean.
Yeah, they give this whole scene, man.
Wer sagt das, hä? Wer zwingt mich dazu?
Ich kann dich zwingen.
He stands up for himself.
Yeah.
And now
this was honestly, this is this part of the movie I always love. Like, this is the final redemption. Anthony Edwards. Yeah, they rely on the muscle of the black guys to do it, and it's like, oh, really, But
I just thought it was so cool that their fraternity brothers showed up to support them. I thought that was so
I
cool.
thought that was really it's a nice moment. And Anthony Edwards, he's really the heart of the show.
For sure.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Ich weiß wieso. Ich weiß, warum sie uns hassen. Weil wir Scheißer sind.
That's funny.
Ehrlich gesagt.
Yes, we're nerds.
So
Nerd
much for that
pride.
speech. Yeah. We're nerds. Yeah. I'm a nerd. And he says, I'm a nerd. I didn't know that before today.
And then the rapey stuff. Okay.
Yeah. Then the girl comes back to help. Because, when you win the movie, you get the girls. That's how it works.
Yeah. Even the ones you assaulted.
Yeah. It's rough. And they play the Queen song. Let's see. He says, "You're jocks. You can live in the gym." I always loved that.
You can live in the gym.
So, even auf Deutsch, and for that I apologize. This is one of those movies, man. I think I've said this a couple of times in the past, but I don't know that there would be a Slashdot without this movie. I identify so.
Is that where you got the font?
That's where News for Nerds comes from. The fact that he at the end proudly states that he is a nerd and he owns the label. I was made fun of a lot as a kid. I was a mess as a kid. And
luckily you grew up.
I did grow up, but only mostly. But this movie, man, for all its warts and flaws, it's one of my all-time childhood favorites. I feel shame, but only half as much shame as I should. Whose turn is it next week?
It is mine.
And
I hate to do this to you guys after we just watched what effectively was a foreign film, but I would like to watch City of the Lost Children.
Oh, wow.
And
good choice.
we can figure out if we want to do the dub or the sub, but good Ron Perlman flick.
Can we find a version in Mandarin?
We should just go the farthest away from the source material as we can, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, folks, that was 50 movies.
Oh boy, felt like 100.
Felt like feels like we've been in quarantine forever.
God.
All right, goodbye, Nate Ostendorp.
See you later.
Goodbye, Rob Roseboom.
Guten Abend.
Auf Wiedersehen, Christabona.
Ciao.
Und ich bin Rob Commander Taco Malda. I'll see you on Friday with some news. Bye.